Okay, Google, stop the music, please. What up, fam? Welcome back. Welcome
Just
back.
searching for answers to life's big and small questions. What can I help you with?
Nothing, Google. Thank you.
Sure, let's move on.
Google kind of rude today. Like, I don't know what that's about. What up, fam? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the channel, Living for You. I am your favorite cousin, your favorite uncle, your favorite father, your favorite brother, your best friend's best friend. It's me, Dr. Larry. What's up, y'all? I'm still tripping about Google. That's a little Beethoven, by the way, just in case y'all wanted to know what that was, that music was. That was Beethoven. Y'all probably heard that before. I think Robin Thicke actually had that in one of his songs. Anyway, whatever. So welcome to the channel. You guys are here, and I'm glad you are here. You know how we do. We get some good life coaching. We get some good popular culture. We get all kinds of stuff going on here at this channel. So welcome. Have a seat. Sit to the table. It's been prepared for you. You already know what I ask. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit the notification bells. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Larry Smith. You can also email me at drlarry@liveforyoucoaching. I own a life coaching practice, and it's called Live For You Coaching. www.liveforyoucoaching.com is the website. I don't think there's much anything else I can say. I've said this. You guys know it's in the description and all that stuff. So welcome. Find me. Use me. Talk to me. Work with me. Let's grow. I'm a black-owned business, obviously, and my specialization, for those of you who just wants to know, those who already knew, I am a certified master life coach. I'm also a spiritual coach. My niche or my focus are African American men between the ages of 18 and 40 who have had some kind of trauma in their life, and still to this day they are dealing with some kind of residue from that trauma. My job, my goal, my hope, and my efforts go into making them realize that they can have a present life, or helping them to realize the present life, the whole life, the trauma-free and the drama-free life that they want to have today. So I'm all of that there. I got materials, I got tools, I got programs, I got coaching, I got free stuff. www.liveforyoucoaching, you can find it. So hey, we're here. Hopefully one day, I'm doing meetings, and we're having big conventions, and we're all over the country, and we're growing together. My goal is to get this YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers. My goal is to be able to expand this knowledge and this information to everybody, to where we're having conventions and we're growing as black men. I'm linking up with celebrity black men and entertainers and politicians and athletes, and we're developing and other entrepreneurs, black men, and we're connecting, and we're coming together finally. Back in 1995, there was the Million Man March, but here we're trying to get 1 million men to change the planet, to change the world, to change the country. We're getting 1 million black men and black women and people together, and anybody who wants to see this improvement, because we're about to have a shift. All right, and I'm on that shift. I'm part of that shift. I am that shift. So you can be that shift too. So here we are, www.liveforyoucoaching. That was a lot, but you're here. Today is actually interesting. You guys know on this channel, sometimes I look at popular culture, politics, things in the news, and I talk about it. Well, I watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's actually one of my favorite shows. I've been watching it since its inception back in 2008. And so I enjoy it because it's Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for quite some time. I love Atlanta. It's possibly my favorite city in this country. No shade to any other city, but what's up, Atlanta? A-Town up, peace up, A-Town down. You know how we do. And I just enjoy it. And so I watch the show because the show is entertaining to me, and I feel like I'm grown and I'm growing with these characters as I'm watching them develop. I've developed, and I've come a long way since its inception. And some of these characters on this show have come quite a long way since its inception. So yes, I'm a fan of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yes, I'm an academic. Yes, I'm a historian. Yes, I'm a theologian. Yes, I'm a minister. Yes, I'm a life coach, and all these other titles that I have that seem like I'm supposed to be highfalutin and, you know, bougie, but no, I'm just a regular boy from South Louisiana. So, yes, I love Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the other ones, but Real Housewives of Atlanta today. And so, on the show, you have lots of African American male characters, right? And today I wanted to focus on 3 of them because they kind of represent the men you either want to be, you either don't want to be in relationships. Kind of, represent 3 of the characters on the show are clearly representations of what a man's supposed to show up in a relationship, be it a marriage or a partnership. They're there, right? The 3 people I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at Mark Daly, who is Kenya Moore's husband, ex-husband. I don't really know where that's at this present moment, but she married Mark Daly, the restaurateur. I'm going to look at him. I'm going to look at Dennis McKinley, that is Portia Williams' husband, and I'm going to look at Greg Leaks, that is Nene Leaks' husband. As you all know, Greg has been there the whole time. They each represent a type of man that shows up in a relationship, the type of black man specifically that shows up in a relationship. And so I want to kind of talk about some of the things about each of them and some of the things that we can get and learn from them. Because trust me, everything in life can be a lesson. Everything in life can be a teachable moment. You just have to be able to see the educational moment in it. So Real Housewives, the men of Housewives, let's talk about it. So first, there's Mark Daly. And I put Mark Daly on the spectrum really far of the man you don't really want to be kinda in a relationship. There's some redeemable qualities, okay? We will say that he actually, when we see how he and Kenya operates, he actually takes a leadership role in their relationship. And oddly enough, given Kenya's big personality, she submits to that leadership of that relationship. So she's very much a housewife when she's a wife, right? At least that's what we're seeing. And no, all this is based on what we see. So we don't know these people personally. We just know what they're projecting onto the screen when we see them. So let's just take this for what it is, and let's just see it as entertainment. And those of you in the comment section, don't take things too seriously, because this is what we do. We're here, we're on YouTube, we're talking, we're getting to know each other. Let's just do the damn thing. All right, anyway, back to Mark Daly. So like I said, he's on the spectrum of that man that, you're kind of interesting, right? When you observe over these past few episodes since we've been watching him and Kenya interact, he kind of almost seems to not recognize Kenya, right? Not recognize her even fully being there. A lot of times his focus is on the child when the child is there. A lot of times he says things as though he's going to override Kenya's feelings, and he seems to not really acknowledge her feelings and her thoughts or her decisions on things. So take, for example, last week's episode, he went and spoke to Nene and spoke to Greg and kind of completely just went against anything Kenya felt. Kenya didn't invite Nene to a gathering, and because her and Nene obviously aren't getting along at that particular point, and he just kind of said, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do it the way I do it. So he's kind of like that bulldozer man, right? That man that is completely going to ignore your feelings, ignore your thoughts, and kind of just do whatever he wants to, and he expects you to just go and do it without any question to his authority. It's very much a tug-of-war battle, and he's winning, right? Right? He's winning because he's pulling and she's just going. That is not really a healthy way to show up in a relationship. I think some of the women kind of caught on to that. When you're in a relationship, your partner's interests are your interests. Your partner's issues are your issues. The goal of relationships are for better or for worse. And in all those dynamics, you should be able to just show up and be there for your partner. So even if he disagreed with how Kenya handled the situation, there was a way of him to be able to do that without it being an embarrassment to her in front of a group of people who are going to already shade her because of whatever, in the relationship. And so his role as ignoring her, bulldozing her feelings, and not really seeing her and allowing her to be present, that's just not the spectrum of a relationship person that we want to be as black men showing up in our relationships. We got to acknowledge We got to show feelings. We got to show consideration and concern about the person that we are with. And you kind of, like I said, you can see how the dynamics play, because it seems like she totally changes up her spirit to be with this man, and he doesn't allow her, it seems, to just show up as the crazy, the wild, the boisterous, the outgoing, the strong Kenya that she has been ever since we've known her, right, on this show. So that's an interesting dynamic. That's a far spectrum. Dennis McKinley. Dennis. I would say this. First of all, Dennis is pretty much where most men, most black men are in their spectrum of life, right? We're on a growing trend, right? We're trying to grow, trying to be a better person. We make mistakes and we try, and we make mistakes and we try. Like, most of us are just trying to be the best we can be despite the mistakes we make. Dennis loves Portia and his daughter, and Dennis will be there for Portia and his daughter, but Dennis has to be able to let go of things that Dennis would have done when he was single. You can't just be mingling with other women. You can't be seeing and talking to other women if you got a whole wife and kid at home that you love. And Dennis made the mistake of cheating on Portia. They weren't married. I don't know. I said they were married, but I don't know if they're married now. But I think they are. I don't know. We'll find out, because that's always an up and down roller coaster that we've been watching for the past almost 2 years. But Dennis made a mistake, and he asked Portia for her forgiveness. He went to therapy with Portia about the mistake, and he spoke to Portia's family and his mother, and they got together and discussed the importance and the gravity of his mistake. So he did the work. So Dennis represents the everyday, ordinary black man just saying, hey, I'm not perfect. Hey, I make mistakes. I will make mistakes, but I will always, always put you first and try to build from that mistake to not do it again. And even if I do it again, please, forgive me. Now, Dennis, I will say, there comes a certain amount of times in which the forgiveness and the thank you dries up. Right? You can say thank you so many times, but if you say thank you for the same thing over and over and over again, your thank you isn't valuable anymore. And so you won't be able to spend it here if you keep doing the same things. So like I said, Dennis is growing, and I appreciated seeing in a past episode him sit down in therapy and have that conversation with Portia and Dr. Sherry, who I love. Dr. Sherry's excellent. But I enjoy seeing that, because as black men, y'all already know that we don't do therapy. I have siblings. I tell them all the time, my brothers, I say, for your relationships to work, you might want to go to therapy. Just go sit down with a therapist, have a neutral conversation between you and your partner so that y'all can get beyond this, and so y'all can sustain and keep going. And my brothers are quickly, especially the one underneath me, my brothers are quickly, no. We don't do therapy. That ain't what we do. I don't believe in therapy. And I'm like, it ain't that you believe in therapy. Therapy is not a religion. Therapy is not a way of life. Therapy is not a fairy tale. Therapy is not something to believe in. Therapy is something that is useful, that you can go and get. Because a lot of times the only voice people, especially black men, we're willing to listen to is our own. But if your own voice isn't trained in a healthy way and the decisions you make aren't healthy, then you can't sit and rely on your own voice. So go get a neutral, non-judgmental, just observing person to be able to talk to get it out, so that you can hear kind of a more clarified way of seeing. So I was proud of Dennis for going to therapy. I was proud of Dennis for making amends and building and doing it for his family, and that's a great thing. You make mistakes, but you don't allow those mistakes to be the demise. If it's redeemable, it's redeemable. And of course, lastly, Greg Leaks. And like Dennis, Greg Leaks has made mistakes. He's not perfect, no one is. But the thing about Greg, and what I have always appreciated about Greg Leaks from day one, is that as crazy and as over the top and as loud and as boisterous and as vivacious as Nene Leakes is, Greg Leaks appreciates and loves her just as she is. You do not ever see on that show Greg Leaks trying to change Lenithia Leaks. Right? He just lets her crazy be crazy, and he loves and appreciates that crazy. And he catches her when she falls, and he grounds her when she goes too high. And it's like it's a great dynamic relationship. I actually think they're a Sagittarius Leo relationship, which fire signs sometimes do that, but that's an interesting and pretty good balance zodiologically. See, I know about a lot of stuff, y'all. I've read a lot of books. I've studied a lot of stuff. I told you I'm a spiritual coach, and so the zodiac is part of astrology. It's part of spirituality, but an important part of spirituality. But Greg is just cool, with it. He just is like, you know what? I know she crazy, but she my crazy. And I love my crazy, and I stand and support my crazy. What you saw Mark do to Kenya, and the idea of making her look bad in front of people, or going over her and ignore her from the people, Greg would have never done that to Nene. Because the thing about it is, we're a unit, we're a team, we are solid, right? We're in this together. If I'm there, you there. If I'm here, you here. If we own this together, and we support. I remember one reunion, Nene and Kenya were going back and forth, and Greg was like, well, I won, because Kenya had insulted Nene and kind of said she was trash and some, just kind of trying to reduce her, and Greg was like, well, I won, I got a prize, this is my prize. And so he jumped in real quick and stood for Nene, and then back right on. He said, baby, sit back, don't even worry about that. That ain't even your concern no more. You know what I'm saying? We know what we got here. You ain't out there cheating with me. We got ours together. Baby, it's okay. Let her have what she have. You got what you got, and I'm glad about what we got. See, that's what we call how real men stand up in whatever relationship they're in, whether it's a partnership, a marriage, whatever relationship they're in, they're standing up for their significant other, right? Quality, being there to support, giving the love and the safety net that your partner needs. So Greg is the extreme that we want to aspire to be, right? That team player, that go-getter. I mean, I can go on with Greg, because when Nene came to LA and she was in Hollywood, Greg was right there supporting her, bringing her stuff. He was always her background, never trying to take anything from her, always just there for her. And I think that that's the type of relationships we want. We want the healthiness of going to therapy and being able to heal like the Dennises, and the being able to apologize and own our stuff like the Dennises. We want the leadership like Mark, where we're able to take the leadership, be leaders, and be strong, competent in our relationship. But we also want the backbone and the strength and the support of Greg. So there's something we can gather from all three of these men in the positive, not just the negative that I shaded Mark with. But there's something we can learn positive from all of them. So, y'all, those are the three men of Housewives I wanted to talk about, because if you watch the show, you see those dynamics. And like I said, everything can be a learning experience. You just got to be able to find the education in it. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I actually enjoyed talking about that. You saw me light up. I enjoyed talking about that, because it's kind of, like I said, people see things and we think on levels, and that's great, but it's always good to kind of just go and have a good time and enjoy. Yes, we're growing, we're knowing, we're building, we're becoming better people. And the better you become, the better the world becomes. So that's it, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I enjoyed that. I look forward to our next discussion about something crazy like housewives or politics or whatever, or anything, just something silly. But I look forward to it, and I will see you in the next video.